Hello and welcome to this edition of the show. I'm your host, Brian Mellard. We do this every Sunday at 4 o'clock here on live stream on Google Plus and YouTube. This week we have special guest Yvonne Brumbeloe. Yvonne, glad to have you in the studio today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where were you born?
Well, I was born in LaGrange, Georgia, just up the road a bit, way back a while, and was raised there, went to high school, graduated from LaGrange High School.
18 years ago.
18 years ago, right. Had quite a bit of fun while I was there. There used to be a place called the Sugar Shack. That's where I got into all my music and groups and singing and all of that type of thing. But was born and raised, but after I graduated, moved to Atlanta.
Cool.
In 1970, I moved to Atlanta, and that's when I got involved pretty early age. I had been into flea markets and all that type of thing back in the day, and collecting a lot of little fun stuff and rocks. Used to do a lot of rock digging. People don't know the Prospector show that we see on TV.
Yeah.
You can do that right there in LaGrange, Georgia. There's a big mine, used to be called the Burl Mine, that you can dig for all kinds of gemstones.
Why am I just now hearing about
I
this?
know. I'm actually going to get a group. We're going to have a group called the Gypsy Diggers. We might go digging there.
That is cool.
So I'll keep informed about that. So
going back a little bit, tell me about your parents. What did they do?
Well, my dad was a builder with his brother, the Bungalow Builders in LaGrange, Georgia, for years and years. Tons of houses built by him, and actually had a gentleman come in the other day that said he lived in one, that he still lives in one that Dad and them built 50 years ago, said it's still a fabulous house. So he and his brother were well known for being builders. They were going to be called Brumbeloe Builders because they were brothers, but nobody could pronounce Brumbeloe when they see it spelled, so they called it Bungalow Builders. So that's how he got his name, and I still have that problem with my name sometimes.
Now, whatchamacallit, so you started going around to some flea markets?
Yeah, in about 1968, my best friend's mother woke us up one Saturday and said, we're going to a flea market. Well, we immediately thought animals, dogs, cats.
Please.
So we got all excited to go see these animals, and we got to a little flea market there. I'm not even sure where it was at. I think we might have gone somewhere below Atlanta. I'm not even sure now. It's been too many years. But we got there, and all these people were set up selling all kinds of things. And we were like, well, where are the dogs and animals? She said, no, flea market's a rummage type sale. So we understood that, and bought my very first piece of Nortaki creamer poppy ware. That was what I started collecting back in the 60s. And went on to, like I say, after I graduated, went to Atlanta, moved there after I got married, and they had all kinds of, flea markets and antique shows up there. The big Piedmont Center was really big with all kinds of deals going on. That's when I got to be a weekender buying and helping a lady. I actually helped a lady in her booth. She sold a lot of antiques and antique jewelry, and she's actually got me started by making me untangle and fix. Gave me a big bag full of jewelry one day and said, here, go do something with it. So I started doing the 85 drive-in. On Sundays, you could go set up at the 85 drive-in and sell. And the first time I set up, I did $200, and I was hooked ever since.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep. And I moved later years in Decatur. I did a lot of antique shows, and the big Lakewood Fairgrounds at the time had a 1-month show. I got to setting up and selling my wares there, and soon evolved into a shop when I moved to Stockbridge, Georgia. Cool. And had my very first shop there with a real good friend, and she's still actually doing some antiques. She's a big real estate agent now, but she does antiques on the side and estate sales, and began to do all kinds of estate sales and all kinds of fun things. So.
And we were talking off camera a little bit about you spent some time in Carolina, close to where Blackbeard Ship was.
Blackbeard Ship, yeah. Before coming back here to Georgia, I lived for about 12, 14 years in Beaufort, North Carolina. My partner at the time, he and I started a little shop in there. And that's when I really went to more jewelry. I really have loved jewelries and beads and that type of thing. So I really started doing less furniture and glassware. A little easier to do jewelry and not be packing up and hauling furniture and glassware around. And that's my love. I began to have to repair and restring jewelry because of finding old strands of beads that'd be broken. So I learned taught myself sort of how to do bead repairs, and went into teaching classes while we were up there, and loved the town of Beaufort. Like you say, Blackbeard's treasure ship has been discovered there. Big historical town, very historic, and we had a beautiful building on the waterfront. We could see the dolphins swimming up and down the Taylor's Creek in behind us. But unfortunately, we're also well known in the town as being the biggest fire they'd ever had. In 50 years, our shop one night caught fire from some old electrical. It was an old building and burned to the ground. Lots and lots of things destroyed, but the townspeople were wonderful and helped us get started again, came and had a big donations day for us on Valentine's Day, and people brought bags full of old jewelry and stuff to help us get going again. But I was ready to come back to Georgia, and had fallen in love with Columbus, coming to see my mother in Phoenix City, and heard about everything happening on Broadway downtown, or uptown now as they call it. So moved back here and opened up a shop down there. So
very
still doing it after 40 plus years. So
and our host Tim, not our host, I'm sorry, our engineer Tim, his wife Catherine spent some time in
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina is my home.
Oh, okay. What part?
Greenville, North Carolina.
Greenville, yes. Okay, very familiar. Had a lot of customers coming through there. Definitely a lot of customers from all over came to see us. So began to do, after we got to here to Broadway, the dam didn't happen quite as soon as they started saying it was. When we first went in downtown, we were some of the first ones down there too, waiting for the dam to go up. But my ex-partner, we actually split up later, and I opened a shop in Front Porch of the South.
Oh, right. That's right.
I took my shop up there. So I was up there for a year and a half, and then I got out of there a little early, thank goodness. I moved out of there and then took about a 2-year hiatus to help take care of boyfriend got injured in a wreck. My dad got sick. My mom got injured. So about a 2-year time period. That's about the longest period. Probably in 30 years, though, I took a break from doing it. But once you get this in your blood. And that's how I got the name Gypsy Cherub. I was known as the Golden Cherub for quite a few years. But everybody kept saying, well, you're moving all over the place. You're just a gypsy. And I said, well, I play tambourine when I sing music and with some friends' bands and things. So I started calling it the Gypsy Cherub, and it stuck.
And it works. That's kind of a eureka.
That's it. So I've really enjoyed being back here in Columbus, though. It's really been a fun time. So.
Tell me a little bit about your, you said you used to do some Indian beading. And back about 18 years ago. I have Indian heritage in me. I have some Creek and Cherokee in the background, and I got to travel and do some of the powwows and live in a teepee on the weekends and loved it. And that's
got to study from some good basic Indian beaders and learn some good peyote stitching and a lot of the tiny little bead work. I can't see as well now to do that, but that was my favorite pastime. And I actually learned to tan hides and do all the old things. So hope someday I have 2 blonde-headed, blue-eyed grandchildren. I hope to teach the old ways though too. So I'm going to carry it on. Is
that the group of Indians that have the dancing up in like Pine Mountain?
I think some of them. We traveled and did several different powwow circuits at the time. I think unfortunately, I think some of the ones have stopped now. It's gotten really hard for a lot of people. Times have been a little hard, I think. So they've had a hard time traveling from place to place, doing them. But now there's a great guy. If you ever can see a guy named Sawgrass, Jim Sawgrass, he puts on a big display of the Creek Indians, and he does, I think, several still. I think he's doing the Stone Mountain powwow now that's coming. So he does a true, accurate old, showing some of the old tools and ways of of living that the Creeks had. Because the Creeks and Cherokees, who I am part of the heritage, most of the time you go to powwows, you see the South Plains type Indians, way of dress, way of dancing. So he does a really good showing of how it really used to be here in Georgia and Florida. And
that's cool, and that's
Alabama.
important.
Yeah.
Tell you what, let's check out this word from a commercial, and we'll be right back after this.
All right.
Timeless beauty at the Gypsy Cherub, 3760 Woodruff Road, Columbus, Georgia. Class is back in style.
Hello, welcome back to the show. Special guest Yvonne Brumbeloe. So we've talked a little bit about what got you here. Let's go into a little bit about the your current situation,
location?
which is the Gypsy Cherub.
Right. Was on 2nd Avenue, Bibb City, for just a little while, but that one wasn't working out. I'd always coveted the little spot I'm in now. For 18 years, it was the flower shop, and everybody knows it. And it became available this past year, and I was able to get into it. And so the Gypsy Cherub is now at the Woodruff Road location in the little Rosemont Shopping Center in the little house there in the corner. Loving it. Still settling in, still unpacking. Really looking forward to having a shop where I can have my workspace to make jewelry again. I haven't really got to do that in 5 or 6 years. So I have a little spot in there that I'm going to actually start hopefully producing some necklaces. Some of the lead-ins that I think you've got some pictures of is some of the Venetian glass beads that I've hoarded for, probably 10 years now. I've been hoarding up old beads. Fell in love with them back in the 1976, discovered how the beautiful handmade beads in Venice, Italy were done, and have collected up quite a few. And I love to break them up and add other beads, old vintage beads in, and make some unique one-of-a-kind designs. And I'm really working on that real hard to start doing it. We have a good selection of Venetian Millefiori, they're called, that he's showing pictures of now. And then the other ones are called wedding cake beads. So if you kind of look them up online, there's quite a bit of the history and all about them that you can find things. And each little necklace is a handmade work of art. They were individually handmade by artisans. So they're really quite. But we also have lots of rooms at this little shop to have the antique jewelry. We have antique glassware, kitchenware. There's a little room there now showing all of our kitchen collectibles. Right now, Pyrex is really big, so I'm out trying to find that for all the Pyrex collectors. I'll have a lot of salt and pepper shakers, everything from even old mixers that still work. So,
nice.
Showing it, and then we have a great section of all kind of vintage. I do the Native American heritage. I have a lot of Native American silver and turquoise. I like to educate people on what is out there in the turquoise line now, because there is a lot coming in from overseas that really isn't what I consider real turquoise. So if you ever want to bring your goodies in and let me look at them, I'll give you some history behind them and value. And I don't charge for doing free appraisals on that type of thing.
Nice.
Lots and lots of jewelry, as I said.
Pretty stuff too.
I love my jewelry. I don't wear a lot. Today I'm wearing my favorite little cherry amber that I've probably had for 30 something years. And these will actually go to my granddaughter. But I like to have a lot of history in behind the jewelry. You have to know a lot about what's going on. Right now, the Downton Abbey is the big thing. For a long time, Victorian jewelry was hot, but right now what they call the Edwardian era is hot because of them. And we do have some reproduction that's being made now of it. And I also have some true Edwardian jewelry from the era, the early 1900s. So you can really see a lot of people get a little overwhelmed right now. We have so much out. I am going to be weeding some out and reducing the price of trying to get rid of, because I'm called a jewelry magnet sometimes. You know, you buy a huge bag full to get 2 or 3 really nice items in it, but then you have this bags full of jewelry to do. So they will soon be able to see a big sale we're going to have for a lot of that type of thing. So, and the crafters, I'm making up bag lots of bits and pieces and broken stuff for the crafters to come out and do. So it's just going to be a multi-varied little shop that we can do things in.
Yvonne, I've been in your shop, and I'm a connoisseur of jewelry myself, and so I noticed you had a lot of really beautiful cameo pieces.
Yes, my cameos. Wonderful cameos. Yeah, we love our cameos. They're each a little individual works of art too. There's a lot of people out there that want to know who carved them and that type of thing. And there are actually some cameos that are signed by artisans on the back.
Very cool.
There's some artisans there now, and some of the antique ones are listed in books and things. You can find their initials sometimes or the full name etched onto the back of them. So
wonderful.
Yeah, and lots of brooches. All the ladies love all the brooches. I'm
a brooch fetish. I have a brooch fetish myself.
Very good. I have a lot of beautiful pieces. I think the picture up now is some early Mexican work.
Oh, nice.
The silversmiths in Mexico actually have a lot of Navajo blood in them. So sometimes you'll see a piece that looks like what you think is a Native American piece of Indian jewelry, but it'll say made in Mexico. Well, a lot of them, when some of the fighting and everything was going on here in the early era, moved to Mexico and married and do a lot of silversmithing down there too. So
Wow.
I have some beautiful pieces from the early 30s, 40s, and 50s. That's just a work of art because they're all hand stamped and hand etched and hammering and silversmith work. That's some
And not
beautiful
made in
artisans.
China.
Not made in China, definitely,
Made in
definitely
Mexico.
not. So.
Yeah, my wife has already promised to save up so she can go back.
Okay,
So-
very good. Very good. And we do
Indeed.
layaways. We do
Most
layaways.
definitely.
Very We also like to bring up, because I'm a musician and you've done a lot of singing, is that
Right.
the
We'd love
Gypsy
to-
Cherub has an extensive vinyl collection.
Yes, we have a wonderful vinyl collection. My nephew Brian is handling that. He is real good about fussing at me. When I first went out, I'm like a lot of people, I went out just buying any album I saw, and he's really made me hone my tactics down and get very sharp, crisp, clean records that
Right.
won't pop and snap and jump around a lot.
Wow.
So he's really gotten a great collection up for everybody. We have records from, oh gosh, some of the old 78s.
Mhm.
We're really trying to get some good old blues and jazz singers from the actual old
Yeah.
78 records. And then we go all the way up to rock and roll.
I may
type
be able
deals
to help
from
you
today.
on that.
Yes.
I've got some the Nat King Cole singers and
Yeah.
got some LPs at my
Yep,
studio
we've
that
got a
just
lot
been
of those, too.
hiding. I may want to just donate.
Yeah, bring them over. Bring them over. We do
Well,
that.
You never made it back to that part of the story, did you?
Yeah, Friends and Neighbors, she has a lot of vinyl. So if vinyl's getting big again, which it
Yes.
never should have not been big, but it's
Right.
getting big again. So
Come and
this
see
is
us.
a hub for vinyl. It's awesome.
Yes, it is.
So where do you, like, as a person who runs a store like the
Mm-hmm.
Gypsy Cherub, where do you get most of your stuff?
Well, a lot walks in the door. People are always wanting me to look through their bags full and tell them if it's good, if it's bad. If it's a lot of
Right.
people inherit their moms, grandmas, and great aunts and don't know if
Mhm.
it's a good piece or a bad piece.
Right.
I try to sometimes I'd like to buy everything they bring in, but sometimes I even advise them, this is a really rare, unusual.
Right.
Save this and make that an heirloom for your
Mhm.
children someday. So,
And
and
honest.
yes, yeah, I try to be. I try to be.
So can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. The Gypsy Cherub, 3760 Woodruff Road, right behind St. Francis Hospital in Columbus, Georgia.
There you go. That's it.
I
Hey,
tried.
ladies, that
I
was
tried.
Commercials.
I
You
tried.
definitely
That
tried.
was live.
Yeah, that's the front of our little shop. And it used to be, I'll get a plug. Everybody's still looking for him. Michael Jarvis. It's Michael Jarvis's old flower shop.
Okay.
And people still come in the door today, even with my new name on the shop and all the
Looking for
antiques
that.
out front. And they say, is this not a flower shop? So I might be start carrying flowers too. You never know.
I have a question for you, Yvonne.
Okay.
Do you also do consignments, or do you?
I do a few consignments. I don't have
Okay.
room right now for furniture and big
Mhm.
pieces, but I am looking for small pieces of furniture, little pieces,
Right.
but definitely jewelry. I'll be doing consignments on that, and
wonderful.
better glassware. I'm looking for some of the mid-century modern
Yes.
glassware and old pottery from the 50s and 60s right now too.
You
I'm
mentioned
doing
earlier
that.
about poppy ware.
Yeah. Some
Um,
of the old poppy. I used to collect what they call not really poppy ware, but
Right.
hand painted poppies on a lot of
Mhm.
Nortaki and old Japan.
Yes.
Did a lot of that, but people are really looking for Pyrex right now too,
Uh-huh.
and I'm looking for that. I'll buy
Okay.
Pyrex if you have it.
Wonderful.
And for those that are like me, who doesn't have any clue what Pyrex is, I'm guessing that's baking ware.
Yes, it's some of the old baking ware. Fire King used to be the hot item, and this it would be signed on the bottom, Fire King. But now this is the old mixing bowls from the 50s and 60s that the
Right.
ladies, they have beautiful, colorful designs on them. There's hundreds of different
Right.
patterns, and every day I just about have somebody coming in looking for it. So if you've got some out there to sell, bring it in to me.
Awesome.
So, Brian, this is the difference between the sexes. That's the reason I asked Catherine to be.
Yep. And we also have a lot of men's jewelry, though. We don't want to leave you out. I have cufflinks galore, men's tie tacks, tie bars, men's bracelets, necklaces, that type of thing. So,
So
it's
those of
just
you
harder
like
to
fashion.
get your stuff because, for us ladies, we might have 20 pair of earrings and 20 rings to every one pair of cufflinks you
Right,
had. So
right.
it's
Exactly.
not as much of it.
First, I got to get something to put the cufflinks on.
That's it.
Tell you what, we're going to check out another commercial aside from the one that Tim just
Did for me. Thank you very much.
wonderfully did. And we'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Catherine Childry, owner and operator of Let's Vocalize Studio Voice, located in Columbus, Georgia. For over 35 years, I've worked with choirs, groups, ensembles, and private vocalists, helping them to perfect their vocal gifts. Contact us at www.letsvocalize.com or call us at 706-536-6123. I'd like to help you offer your best gift.
Hello and welcome back to the show. Special guest Yvonne Brumbeloe. I'm your host, Brian Mallard. We do this every Sunday at 4 p.m. Now, there are some things you wanted to talk about, I believe.
Right. I'm really involved right now with the MS walk coming up. Multiple sclerosis. A lot of people don't know what MS is. We found that out. Have a really nice friend and a gal that's really worked hard. She is named Tony. Everybody calls her Tony, but her real name's Tanya Ray Hill.
Yeah.
I'm on her team for the walk. We just had a big thing at Sports Page this past week and
Very
raised
cool.
some money. A bunch of groups came and sang and everything for us, and a lot of good people came, and we raffled off lots of wonderful gifts and
Wonderful.
things. And I'm going to be having a big fundraiser yard sale at the shop on March 19th. We're renting out spaces. I've already rented out about half of them. We do have about 5 more spaces to rent. You can bring anything you want to sell, but we've had a lot of people donate items. Plus, I'm donating a lot of the goodies I was talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Dumping a lot of jewelry. I'm taking and we'll be doing that. Like I said, you can call me at the shop or come by and rent a spot for $10. And it
Not
goes
bad.
straight to the MS walk. And we'll be doing the actual walk on April 9th.
Gotcha.
And it's usually down on the Riverwalk area. So I'm really hoping a lot of people come out and help us raise a lot of money for this cause. It's a really good cause. So.
And Brian, I just wanted to break in. We actually had a viewer asking a question.
Okay.
What we got?
And wanted to know about when you were doing your sale, about you do have a lot of local musicians that you carry.
Yes, I do. I forgot to mention that. We have a lot of CDs of the local musicians that are in town. I'd love to have more. We've only got 5 or 6 different ones that we're doing right now, and I don't charge any commission on that. We really want to have some people come out and start supporting all of our local musicians. A lot of people think they only have where you can go online and download their
That's
music.
good.
But there are a lot of them that have some great CDs out there. So please come by and see and buy some of them and help support them.
Definitely check it out and support your local song slinger and your
Definitely.
local antique dealer.
Antique dealer,
Because they're both
yes.
awesome.
Definitely.
And where first of all, I wanted to ask real quick, the MS walk, how long is that?
The actual walk itself, I think, is the April 9th downtown. I think it starts early that morning and usually lasts, I think, till the afternoon. There's a lot of people come out, but we're doing fundraisers the whole, just about this whole year, spring.
Right.
And then the money, that's when we actually take all the money that's been raised then. There's actually a link, I think, I'm going to try on my Facebook page. I do have a Facebook page. I'm trying to learn this. I'm getting a link up that you can link onto our team and donate either in my name or some of the other team members or in Tanya's name, and help us raise lots and lots of money for a really good cause. Because we want to, I think it's a disease right now that a lot of people don't know a lot about. I actually have some brochures at the shop. If you'd like to learn more about it, come by and pick some up and help us out.
One question that I had, as far as how long the walk is, I mean, what's the mileage?
I'm not sure because I don't really do the walking part. I'm just helping raise funds and help out. I think they start somewhere I'll have to find more about that and let y'all know. Maybe I'll announce it next week. I don't think it's a long walk because some of the victims, of MS do have a hard time sometimes walking, and most all of them get out there and do it. So it's not a really long walk. So if you have health problems, I think you could actually do it.
So Yvonne, just so we can keep up with what's going on, can you give us the actual address to your Facebook page?
See, I'm not.
She doesn't know it. I put her in the corner, guys.
She's the one you're the one that helped me do that. I think it's just the Gypsy Cherub.
There you go.
The Gypsy Cherub, and you have to put it, I think, together as one word with a capital G and a capital C.
Well, you could put it in the search thing and put the Gypsy Cherub,
and it'll come up right. Okay.
With a beautiful brooch right beside it, so you'll know exactly where you're going.
That's right.
And she's on my friends list, on Tim's friends list. Just go to one of our web pages. Tim Childry or Brian Mallard, and just look. She's in the friends list, and we.
You have to remember, I've been at this a long time.
And also, we'll put it on the show.
And we'll put it on the show. Yeah.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Now, I would like to say something, or ask a question rather, and I usually ask this of all my artistic friends, and you may have noticed that we do more than just musicians and artists and things like that, small business owners as well, because small business is extremely important, and we're very supportive of that. What advice would you give to people starting up a business? Never asked that question before.
Right. I've done it so long. Like I said, I've always been doing it by my bootstrap.
Right.
Antique business is kind of like that. But if you're really wanting to do a business nowadays, you really definitely need to learn all about the savvy end of the computer and the using Facebook and Instagram and all of that. I'm just learning myself. But try and have a really good knowledge of your area that you want to go into. Try to have a very good knowledge of how to get financing. It's very hard nowadays, especially with the economy the way it is for startup businesses. I see a lot of these little sites that say, come to us for startup money. Be very careful. A lot of them are scam artists. But I just want to know your business very well in and out and ask for help. I've always done it usually by myself, but nowadays you really need to ask for all the help you can get, I think, starting a new business. Advertising is very important, and a big chunk of your budget needs to go to advertising nowadays because there's so much out there. You've got to really, get your name out there and in front of it. And really and truly, today's economy, the way it is, I think we need a lot more small businesses.
Oh, yeah.
I think people are starting to look to small business people instead of going to these big chain stores and everything. So I'm hoping that'll become something for the future for a lot more young kids to think about getting into. So. And
I'm going to do a shameless self-promotion. One of the biggest ways to help your budget, video podcast. We'll do commercials really cheap for you.
That's right. That's right. And you have definitely reached more people than some of the advertising that I've done that's been with some of the commercial deals.
Yes.
Come and see me on Facebook and tell me if you're a musician or whatever, you're interested, to get with us and we'll consider you for being a guest on the show. Well, Yvonne, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. It's been
Yvonne,
fun time.
Yay. Jared.
Thank you.
And I'd like to throw a shout out to Tim Childry over there, who you've heard from time to time, who runs this thing, and Catherine Childry for jumping in there.
Glad to be here.
My wife.
And until next time, I'm your host, Brian Mallard. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. I'm on both. And we'll see you next time on the show.
Okay, thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Mark your calendars for March the 19th.